So Sarah, you can just listen along. You can go ahead and hit mute on your end, and you can even, looks like you've muted the video too. So then you can just listen along, and
Sounds good. Thanks.
we don't have to hear any background noise. And then you'll see right here this little bit.ly is kind of a link of how you guys can see the Google Doc I have right now, which I have written on the whiteboard here. So if you just go to Chrome and type this in right here, you'll be able to see what I have on my screen. So the capital letters matter, capital, lowercase. Morning.
Good morning. Premature Christmas.
Mm-hmm. We have Robert joining. Welcome, Robert. I like we're getting people remotely. So, obviously the priority is coffee. It's the single most important part here. And feel free to come and go as you please. If you need to go get ready for your day, it's all good. Feel free to ask questions throughout. Those of you that are joining on Google Hangout, you guys can also, I'll try to keep an eye on it. You'll see there's a little chat feature on the side. If you wanted to ask questions, you can add questions on there. Maybe I'll even get Tracy to join as well on back channel. She can even field questions as well because she likes to do that. So it's a super short period of time. And so it's really just going to be kind of an overview. And I want to just kind of expose you to some of the features. Some of the features you may know already. So some of them are like basic. Some of them are maybe a little more complicated. This is all part of kind of the whole idea of one cool thing, of just like little nuggets of ideas. We all know how like just sometimes you see somebody do something and you're like, oh, that makes me, I could do this in my class. There you go. Mute. There we go. There you go. Welcome. Get some coffee. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. I know there's all sorts of videos going on. Go get some coffee. So those of you that are just joining, and I think we're getting maybe some more people joining in. Awesome. The idea here is to kind of model a bunch of different things. So specifically the topic today is about Google Docs and some of the features of Google Docs, but you can also see I'm doing kind of multiple things. So one of which is showing how you can use Google Hangouts to have people join remotely. So this can be really useful for getting people at different sites to join in, doing communication even between offices on campus, there's all sorts of different applications. So you'll kind of see how this can work. I'm also kind of demoing a device called Swivl, which is a way of tracking, recording video and audio in class. So it could be a nice way for you to record your class and get an idea of like what your students are doing while you're working with other students, right? So it can record
Are we legally obligated to tell them when we're recording them?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yeah. And it's quite obvious that it's going, right? So anyway, I'm recording this so that I have this training kind of into perpetuity, but also kind of model that this is another thing that I'm available for support. So in terms of Google Docs, and those of you that are just joining, this link right here, bit.ly, if you type that code into Google Chrome, and those of you who are here, it's on the whiteboard. That'll allow you to see this Google Doc. And so you'll kind of see me as I'm editing it. You'll see kind of the topics I'm going to go over this morning. And then if you want, you could go and make a copy of it and keep it for yourself later on by going File, make a copy. So just like really quick for those of you that are in here, like how savvy do you feel with Google Docs? Like 5, you feel like you're kind of like advanced, you get it really easily. 1, you have like no idea what's Google Doc.
I can create a Google Doc.
You can create a Google Doc. Okay, nice. Okay, so kind of a mix.
I like that.
Yeah, so table of contents is a pretty cool thing, and I've linked here to videos that I've created on these topics. So I'll kind of show you today, but you can always go back and watch my video, and of course I can work with you. So table of contents is pretty cool. Basically it uses the auto formatting of headings, and it is smart and it figures it out. So if you have like a really long document,
Like a WASP report?
like a WASP report, right? And it's going to get really unruly. You may want to have a table of contents. And the table of contents will allow you to basically click on it and it'll jump to the part of the document. So you basically do it by going up to Insert, Table of Contents. And there's two different styles here. So I'm going to click this one. And so it says Add Headings by going to Format Paragraph Styles, and they will appear in your table of contents. So you can see already that I've kind of got this outline format. So if I highlight this and then I go to, just as it says, Format Paragraph Styles, and I have like all these different options, I'm just going to say, okay, this is heading 1. I'm going to make this heading 1. So it makes it bigger. This next one. And so now when I come up here and I hit the little update table of contents, automatically now it says, oh, you want to go to the Explore feature, click on this, and it'll jump me down. And then my next topic, apply heading 1. The thing you have to do each time you do it, you have to hit refresh, right? Now within that, say I have a second heading style, right? So now I can go to Format, Heading Style 2. It's a little bit smaller, and now when I go up to my table of contents and I hit refresh, it's also in there. So you can have like all those bullets of an outline that you have, you can apply different headings and just stagger it all out. And so
Infinity, does it only have the number, like you showed under paragraph
I
styles?
think it goes to
Does it
6.
only go to 6? I mean, could you add a 7, 8, 9, 10 if you had to?
I'm going to assume yes. I don't know. That might be a lot. I don't know. We'd have to play around with it. But 6 is quite a bit. Feel free to get some coffee if you want. So I think, yeah, for something like a WASP report, or even just some documents I've seen with teachers giving their students, you know, maybe I've seen teachers who have like a running agenda, like a running Google Doc for the year. So sometimes that could be good because you can, morning, grab some coffee. That can be, you know, another way of doing it where you would have a heading for each day, and so you'd have a table of contents of the semester, and so that can make it be a little easier to organize. So that's table of contents feature. So I could go through and do all of those. Another really cool feature of Google Docs is this Explore feature. Let me actually make this a little bigger. Have you guys ever noticed this little button down here? Do you know this exists? So
it makes my Google slides very pretty.
it is kind of magical. So basically, so if you're in your Google Doc and you just come down here, it's this little star icon.
It's not coming up.
Ours is view, like our setting in the front. Chris is
It's because you're a view of mine,
Oh,
yeah.
that's fine. Okay.
So if you want to just open up another Google Doc, or if you just go up to File, make a copy,
Okay.
you can make a copy of mine, and then you can like manipulate it as well. And it'll add it to your Google Drive.
Okay, so now Explorer should appear. What I don't understand in that feature is that sometimes it wants to do makeovers and sometimes it's not in the mood. Is there a way to tell it that, you know, sometimes it just wants to do like web searches for me. I don't know if that makes any sense, but when I hit explore, like say I'm making a slide presentation and it fits the, like it does some nice work with layouts, and then sometimes it just it doesn't seem to be a choice when I click explore.
Oh, interesting.
So can I ask a question before you answer your question? there were two things came up when you were talking, Suzanne. One, is that Explore feature show up on Google Slides as
Yes.
well as Google Docs?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what
And
you
this,
said.
the second thing is, what kinds of things does Explore do?
Yeah,
In
so,
general.
so it's basically a Google search within Google Docs, right? So if I wanted to search the topic of hyperlinks, or you can see below I have this idea of hyperdocs. So I can search it, and so now it's like a little mini Google search. So I can search the web. I can search images. This is where, especially in Google Slides, it's really powerful because now you're searching for images and you can literally just click and drag and add. The other thing is all of them are copyright free. So they're all the images that show up within the Explore feature are labeled for reuse, which is really nice. You can also search within Google Drive stuff. So now here you're starting to see some of the different stuff in my own Google Drive that I have.
Chris, would you recommend this for students?
Everybody.
Writing papers?
Yeah, right. So a student who's writing papers, by the way, and obviously like collaboration with colleagues, if you're working on a document within your department, this is kind of cool. Say I wanted to cite this right here. I can just click right on this and it'll cite it as a footnote. I mean, there's just like a lot of capability within the Explore feature. So I encourage you to explore that and a little more. Suzanne, I'm not sure, to go back to answer your question, I'm not sure what hurdles you're coming up with, but we can play with it and see
Sure.
if we
So
can
I mean,
figure
it
it out.
always gives me the opportunity to search the web or to search the web for images, but it doesn't always give me. Sometimes it looks at my slide and says, "Oh yeah, we can do something about it," and then sometimes it just pretends that that's not even an option.
Oh, interesting.
It's very, very strange.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I wanted to also, this is kind of like more entry level, and I have a feeling many of you know how to create a hyperlink. So you'll see scattered throughout here, I have all these like little blue underlined words, right? So this kind of leads to this whole idea of hyperdocs. So you could be doing an assignment with students that's, almost like a scavenger hunt within the document, right? And students have the ability, just like I'm giving here, the opportunity to link to all these other different sources, all within the context of the lesson that I'm giving right now. So to create hyperlinks, super easy. You highlight the word that you want to link, and you come up here, insert link, and then you would copy and paste the link that you have. So that's how you can create hyperlinks. And when you start thinking about a Google Doc through that lens, you can really start opening up your ideas to all sorts of different applications. So it's really very powerful. Another really powerful feature of Google Docs is the commenting feature. So if you guys go up here to the upper right-hand corner, it's that little pencil. You'll see that there's different modes. So right now, because I'm the author of this, I'm in the editing mode. Earlier, you guys were in the viewing mode, which you see automatically restricts a lot of those features. There's also suggesting. So say you give commenting rights to somebody, they can then come here and say they wanted to add to it, and say talk about ... right? So now it gets boxed in. So you're not changing the document yourself, right? But you're contributing to it. So this can be helpful. So say you're helping students with an essay, right? So now you can give suggestions for how they could be doing something.
So I use this function, but I don't know what they are looking at it from their point of view, and how they can erase this, and I get always email back and then saying so and so took it or erased it or whatever they responded towards to my suggestion,
Right.
but I have no idea what's happening exactly. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, so they have the ability to basically accept or reject the
Right,
suggestions.
that's the word I hear, but I don't know what that means exactly what they
And
did.
is there a way to disable that? I don't.
Yeah, I don't
know
get that
about
like all the
every-
So you don't get all those notifications? Yes.
Share the file with me, let's do it in real time.
Okay,
Because we
so
can just really quickly demo it.
Let's go to.
So that's one of the things that you guys can think about as you're looking at these various tools, is if you are trying to achieve something with your students or your staff and you're not quite sure what it's going to look like, find a friend, phone a buddy, and actually go into a test run before you go live. And that can be with one of your students. If you have a student that's like, come on, let's try this out real quick, then you can get to a level of confidence where you feel like, okay, now I understand the functionality. But I will tell you that there's no differentiation between what you do in a Google Doc or in Google Slides versus what your students do. The Google ecosystem does not discriminate. So it looks at you as a user, and our students have the same level of access as users. So all the functionality you see, it's identical for them. So unlike an LMS that has varying levels of view, when you're in Google, it's all the same.
Yeah. So I shared it with you. So if you want to.
Okay, so what am I doing?
I don't know. You said you were going to show.
I'm going to show. It was a task, right?
Yeah.
Well, one question I have is there an easy way to say no thank you to all the resolved?
The notes, right? You just don't want to get all the notifications.
Yeah, notifications, right.
I don't know that off the top of my head, but I can find that out. Yeah.
I like giving you homework.
I did. Yeah, I know. Making me work. That's good. I like the stuff.
This is not a very tech-savvy question, but can you print that with all those comments?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do the comments show up as well when you print it?
I think it
Yes.
did. I
Pretty
think
sure.
it did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, so another really cool feature.
And then when they reject, I think if I'm not wrong, they like a sideline comes over whatever I wrote it down.
Oh,
And
I see.
also, it got me into a little bit of trouble because I didn't think about it ahead. I had students comment on each other's drafts on a paper, and then when they uploaded their finished
Oh.
papers to Canvas, if they hadn't
Resolved all that stuff?
resolved it, then basically I saw a PDF with all of those notes,
Yeah.
and so then I couldn't like cut and paste out
Yeah.
model sentences or
Right,
anything
so
like
they
that.
had to make sure that it's clean.
So yeah, I didn't think to warn the kids.
So there's a little bit of
Clean-
a little
clean
bit
up,
of training
yeah,
about
okay.
it. One feature that is really cool about if you're wanting students to do something. So if you highlight it and automatically the little plus symbol pops up for add a comment, which you can also find up here. So when I click on this, if Tracy already submitted this assignment, but she needs to fix something and I want her to know that I want her to fix something, I can actually I type plus and then her email, and I say, please fix this. And then I check this little box assigned to it. And now she's going to get an email notification. She gives me a frowny face.
Oh,
She's got homework.
How do you do that? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I love
I'm so sorry.
Let's do it
I already
again.
said
Let's give her more homework, right? So again, I highlight it.
Oh, highlight
I
it.
hit
Okay.
plus comment,
Okay.
and so what I do is I write plus and then her
Oh, okay.
her email, right?
Just plus.
Just a
You
little
hit the
plus
plus.
sign,
She does that. Oh.
and then I hit assign,
Okay.
and then I would give feedback of, no, you still have to do this. And now she will get an email notification saying
So
a
it's
task
all
has been
in
assigned to
All
her.
in the same box. You can put the email address and your comments in a one box.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can I do that for the
Yeah, and I
multiple
just pass
people
it
if I
back.
just plus, right?
And then she reassigned it to
She
me,
just-
right?
yeah.
So this is nice if you're collaborating with your department on a document and a member can't make it to the meeting, right? You want to still tie them in on it. You can assign them tasks and they'll get notifications about it. So that's a really cool feature.
Well, and did you notice this piece right here, just a little subtlety? So let's say you're overseeing a group or a committee, and you inadvertently assign it to someone, and then you're like, realize that actually they've assigned it to someone else. It allows for that level of collaboration. So Chris gave it to me, but I really think Brian should do it.
Oh, so you send it to me.
Yes, so then it's not like, but I didn't sign up for this.
Oh, I see. Got it.
Yeah.
Continuously related to this issue question.
Mhm.
So when I asked the group project, and then they submit this to the Canvas,
Mhm.
and then I'm trying to grade, and it has a due date. But past the due date, they still have a Google document, so that even past the due date, they continue to edit.
They can't continue
They
to edit.
can, right?
Yeah.
But I can check and see when those edition was done because I can see what they did and who did on the entire page
Which
function.
you're giving me a beautiful segue to the next one, which is version history.
Right.
So like you're already kind of onto it.
Okay.
So you can go to File and go to what's called version history.
Right.
See version history.
So who added it and what, it all comes out with the date, right?
Yeah, so now you can see, kind of gone are the days of always having to hit save, right? It's like constantly hitting save, which by the way, I still, when I'm working on a document that's really important, I still hit save.
Oh, yeah.
It's like just burned into my habits. But you can see every edit that I've made on here, and you can do the same thing for students. So when I have students turn in a Google Doc, I always say, give me editing access, right? Because now I can see the version history.
Right.
So always have students give you editing access, because now you can go and you can see if they're still working on it after you submitted it. And my favorite, if between 743 and 744, they went from having this much to this much, there was some serious copying and pasting going on.
Right.
And it's usually a huge tip-off that there's plagiarism, right? And so it makes catching plagiarism really easy. So if you're even suspicious, that's just kind of like another tool in your back pocket where you can go to version history and usually catch them really quick.
Right, but there's no function I can just cut it and say, okay, this is the due date. For example,
So
Friday
it's
midnight.
done, yeah.
Can I put the limit of the time? They can't do any editing longer on this.
So when you go with, this is getting into like a Canvas question. So typically when stuff's submitted on Canvas,
Right.
it'll give you like a snapshot of what it looked like at that time. You also within SpeedGrader have an option where you can click download responses. So you can actually download all of the submissions. So you'll get like a file on your computer. And so that's like locked in time,
Okay,
what all those documents
So
look like
this
at that
doesn't,
time.
but the Canvas has some sort of
Yeah,
function.
and I can
Got
show
it.
you how to
Okay.
do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So any other kind of Google Docs type questions? I wanted to show you guys a little bit about Flipgrid as just like a little bit of a teaser.
I just have a quick question about all of us up at the top there.
Mhm.
Does that always show everybody who has access to every Google
No,
Doc?
just
who are
on
on
it.
at
So
the
when
moment.
this tells me
Who
who's
has the
Okay.
who has the page
Who's
open?
live? Yeah,
At least
okay.
Right.
somewhere on the Explorer or whatever.
I have a question about commenting. Sometimes I find that I want to comment in general about a document instead of about a special spot, and it seems to me I can only click on a certain spot to do that. Is that true?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know within Canvas you can use the general comment feature,
Right.
but within a Google Doc, I don't think so. I think probably the best thing would maybe be to just at the very, very
I've just
top.
been using the heading or the title.
Yeah, I would probably just use that. I don't know if anybody else has any other
And then
ideas
by
or
hitting
insights.
the plus, then it becomes actually an email to all of the.
No.
Yeah.
So if you give a comment, just a general comment, next time they open it, they'll see it.
Right.
If you want to notify them,
Yes.
use the plus and then type their
Yes.
email, and
Yes.
then they will get a notification.
So the plus with the email.
Yeah. So I would come up here. I'd type in your email. I'd say what I need to say, and make sure you check the little box assigned.
The same box. Yeah. Got it.
Oh, and then yeah. There you go. Make sure she gets. Okay.
Yeah, and then that only change of practice would be if your students are not accustomed to using Gmail with their student account, which I've heard it's been a mixed bag so far, you'd have to make sure they're checking their Gmail.
Oh, I see.
think it's gotten better since
It has,
And I think
especially
that-
the younger students. Now
Yeah,
the
I just
holdouts
think
are really
another
like
year
seniors, right?
Before the seniors with like, oh, I did that with the wrong account. That's still hard, but I figure 2 more years and we'll be good.
Exactly.
And we'll be system.
Because they are all getting the similar account, so that's cool. I see.
Well, and a teaser also, if I may, just before you finalize on Google Docs, if you're not familiar with leaving voice comments, because there's that concept I know you were thinking about, well, I need to give them a little bit of parameter around what we want to accomplish. There is functionality that will allow you to attach a voice comment to a Google Doc.
Really?
Real really.
Also within
really
Canvas. You can
powerful.
also do that within
Yes.
Canvas.
Oh yeah, it's Canvas I know, but
Yeah.
Google too.
Yes.
So show us that.
Well, that's next.
Yeah, we'll do that. We can do that one later.
You probably
I also
can
want to
do that
encourage you guys to
website.
check out. I don't know if you guys use Chrome extensions.
Well,
I'll
no,
kind
no,
of
no,
give.
no,
I learned this one.
I don't need that, but.
This one's really kind of cool. So if you are a really savvy Google Doc user, there's this Chrome extension called Sir Links-a-Lot. Sorry, it's pretty sweet. It's got this pretty cool hat, kind
Yes.
of Heisenberg type hat
Very nifty.
with the cool gold glasses. But it's this Chrome extension where if I wanted to automatically make this a view only, so like I shared this link with you and I want to force you to make a copy of it right when you get it. I would come up to this little extension, and I can basically tailor it to be a forced copy. So as soon as you get it, you're prompted to make a copy of the document. This is kind of like a little more advanced Google Doc stuff, but it's actually a really cool Chrome extension that I just recently learned about.
But isn't it just as easy to change the edit?
Yeah, so you can type it into the URL, and that's another way.
But
But
that doesn't seem harder, right?
yeah, so it's just
Sometimes
like
it's
another
like
way. Yeah, and there's multiple versions. You can you have just more options, I think, in changing the URL. So
Yes.
making it a template and opening another tab, just kind of more options. So Flipgrid is a app that I want to just kind of give a little plug for. So you guys can click on this link. If you have a phone, you could pull out your phone and download the app. You click on the link and log in with your account.
Why do you need to use your phone rather than your computer?
It's just multiple points of entry for it. Yeah, either one is fine. So one of the things that's really cool about Flipgrid for students is so Flipgrid is basically like a digital discussion board. It's a video discussion board, right? And so you can create a topic, a discussion, and have a prompt associated with it, and then students can submit their responses to that topic either using their phone or using their computer. And when they're using the phone, the app is very similar to the social media they're used to, like Snapchat. So you kind of get a little bit of a hook and an engagement factor for that. So the basic idea is you and they would create an account. It's designed for educators, so I would recommend when you do it, you use your school account, and same with them. These can connect with Canvas, and I can get to that later at another time. But basically, I've created this little discussion. Welcome to Flipgrid. Introduce yourself. What's one cool thing you've done or learned recently? So once you click on the link or you've opened it up on your app, you would join by entering in this code, or you can see all of them by just entering the code 1CoolThing. And so now all of a sudden you'll see this discussion post, and either on your computer or on your phone, you would click this little plus symbol, and it'll say, are you okay with using the microphone and camera? And now I could give a response on my phone or on my computer to that prompt. And then as students or as teachers start submitting, you start seeing this grid of videos. Or really, they take a little selfie, and then they can add like stickers to it. So you see this all on social media. People love nowadays. And then it's like this video discussion board, right? So give it a try. This is kind of the experimental one. So you download it onto your phone or click on that link, hit the little plus sign, and maybe on your way back to your classroom or at some point today, try it out. You could say, introduce yourself, give your name, what's one cool thing you've done recently or that you learned recently, maybe today. And then you can just kind of get a feel for what the app is like and how it works. And if you're interested in seeing how it could fit in your class or how we could use it, admin and teachers, we could play with it. So, questions? I want to make sure I give you guys enough time to get to your classes and everything.
So I did add the how to use Google Voice for comments to Chris's file.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you.
Yay. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Chris, you killed it.
Thanks. Anybody in Google Hangout land have any questions or want to jump in? Oh yeah, let's see. Chat. Do we have anybody? No, nobody chatted. Hello. Awesome.
Okay.
So you can see that these individuals who you're welcome, Emily. So people they muted the screen, they muted the audio. They are probably setting up their room or doing their morning routine, but all along they're just kind of listening to me in the background. So that's one thing that's kind of cool about Google Hangouts. You kind of be present without being totally engaged with it at the time. You're welcome, Robert. So, and then there's like this whole back channel effect where they can be chatting along the way.
Have a good day, LG.
Awesome.
So